On Tuesday, the Green New Deal Network, their national partners, and members of Congress got together to urge the Biden administration to really go bigger to address climate, to address care issues and justice issues. We want them to go bigger than bipartisanship. Act.tv was there. We were able to cover it, and we were able to hear from, great activists and our representatives. Khanna was there. Pramila, Jayapal was there, and I got you some clips. These folks all got together to insist that all that stuff I was just talking about gets taken care of in reconciliation, aside from any bipartisan BS bill. All right. So first up, in terms of clips, we've got a Working Family Party representative, Natalia. Listen closely to what she talks about in terms of who Democrats choose to invest in.
WFP is the party for the multiracial working class fighting for a nation. WFP is the party for the multiracial working class fighting for a nation that cares for all of us and representing the people that made this Democratic majority possible. So give yourselves a round of applause, people on the stage. We are proud to be part of the leadership of the Green New Deal Network and to do everything we can to push for the boldest possible recovery legislation. That's right. And we are here today because the investments made today aren't just mere policy decisions. It's about who Democrats choose to invest in. We are here today because $600 billion to expand and electrify public transit means that Black, Latino, indigenous communities that are being gentrified out of the very cities they want to live in have a way to get to work. Because $600 billion to retrofit public buildings, including schools and public housing, means that Black, Latino, indigenous children have a school that they can go to that they can be proud of and have homes they deserve. Because $1.1 trillion for clean, renewable energy that provides our communities access to affordable and reliable energy grids. Because $132 billion to fully fund the Civilian Climate Corps means that our young people have jobs that give them a future while addressing the catastrophic changes that are coming through climate change. Because investments necessary to replace 100% of lead pipes, toxic stormwater and wastewater systems means that more Black, Latino, indigenous people have access to clean water. Again, these are questions about the who. The majority of Congress, leadership of both houses, and this administration choose to serve. The communities that this past general election made this amazing majority possible in the first place. So I want to thank the leadership that was here from Congress. I want to thank all of the champions, but I want to thank the people who are on this stage, standing side by side in locked arms, pushing back around the catastrophic implications of climate change. Thank you.
That was Natalia from the Working Families Party. Very powerful speech. It went on longer and it was wonderful. So I look forward to hearing more about her. If you have the opportunity to join the Working Families Party, why not do it? Everyone complains about not having a third party. Well, we do, kind of. And so, let's help them move along. From Greenpeace, Ebony Martin was there talking about who Congress is giving $15 billion of our dollars to. Let's take a listen.
$15 billion. $15 billion. That's how much of our money, our tax money, that Congress gives, that the administration gives to the oil and gas companies. $15 billion. The same industry that knew that oil and gas caused this climate crisis. The same industry that knew people would suffer, especially Black and brown people, at a disproportionately impacted rate. The same industry that knew that our planet would be devastated by oil extraction and production. The same industry that hid the science, hid it, lied to us, blocked solutions for clean and renewable energy. This is the same industry that's linked to 8.5 million deaths globally in 2018 alone. And that doesn't even begin to quantify the health impacts, which grow more and more catastrophic every year. $15 billion. And why? Why? Why are we giving it to them? To poison our kids? To poison our planet? To poison our future? No, 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 no. That stops today. Not on our watch. We're out here today because it's not on our watch, right? Tap your neighbor and tell them not on our watch. Not on our watch. So right now we have an opportunity. We have a real chance to limit the destruction. But Congress and President Biden have to act now. And right now we're calling out Joe Manchin and all the oily politicians who like to give away our tax billion, our dollars, and then say to us, we don't have money for clean renewable energy. Where's the money going to come from? You know what I want you to do? I want you to call them and tell them, we want the $15 billion to go towards our healthcare system. We are fighting for a world far beyond what we see today, a world in where everyday people's well-being, their health, and their families come first. And it's time for President Biden and Congress to act now and to shift our money away from the oil and gas industry.
I mean, that was awesome, right? Ebony Martin from Greenpeace. Definitely look her up and give her a follow on the socials. Next up was Representative Khanna of California. I don't usually hear representatives talk in this way. You hear activists like Ebony, who we just heard, Ms. Martin, speak about this. She's from Greenpeace, a radical group, right? But to hear a representative, even one from California, talk this way is slightly unusual and fairly hopeful. Khanna.
We need to end fossil fuel subsidies. I don't understand how this is even a question. We are actually putting our hand on the scale to help fossil fuel industries, to advantage them over renewables when we ought to be doing exactly the opposite. You can't be for bold climate action if you don't stop the fossil fuel subsidies. Third, we need to actually invest in what is going to get us to 100% renewable energy future and to reduce climate emissions by half by 2030, which every climate scientist tells us. And right now, the Senate bipartisan deal is woefully inadequate. I was just talking to someone from the Sierra Club. He says it doesn't even fund the lead pipes that are needed, the replacement of lead pipes. And we all saw what happened in Flint. We've seen the catastrophe of people who are still drinking in the United States of America, the wealthiest country, water from lead pipes. We know what we need. 1.1 trillion is what it will take to go to 100% renewable energy. I don't understand why that is controversial. It will create jobs. It will create jobs across this country, not just in my district in the Bay Area in California, but in places like Andy Levin's district in Michigan, in places across this country. We will fight to make sure we do not shortchange the environment. If there is not going to be strong climate, there will not be a deal. Now, I respect the Speaker, and she always talks about our unity being our strength. But in addition to unity, there is a value more important than unity, and that value is justice.
Beautiful. A lot of the speakers spoke about how climate justice is social justice. And I love the how we're bringing together all these different groups at the intersection of climate, because that's where it all kind of comes together. Everyone is dependent on it. The $1 trillion that he talks about, they're going to spend it somewhere. We just need to spend it on the right things. I mean, they're going to spend it. So when the right wing says, and the right wing media says, where are we going to get that money? Well, we're going to stop spending, kill us, and start spending it on things that will help us all live. I don't understand why it's such a complicated issue. And as he said, that $1 trillion is going to create jobs. They're going to buy new pipes. Somebody's got to make the pipes. Somebody's got to lay the pipes. Somebody's got to test the pipes. You know, those are all jobs that then stimulate the economy. But I, of course, don't need to be telling you, because you are Act TV viewers and you probably are already hip to that kind of misleading information they give you on the right. Representative Pramila Jayapal from Washington talked about the 5 priorities of this movement, and here they are. Let's listen.
The reconciliation package has to move simultaneously with any smaller bipartisan package. We said that 3 months ago. That is now what is happening and where we still believe we are. Every day that we delay is another day that people can't go back to work because they don't have childcare. Another day of immigrants being called essential but treated as expendable. And further delayed action on the climate crisis. Ultimately, it's another day of failing to deliver for the people after they delivered us, the House, the Senate, and the White House. And look, let's not forget who we're dealing with here, all right? Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, bragged several months ago that 100% of his focus is on stopping this new administration. And let me tell you, if we let him, that is what he will do. But we don't have to let him. These are the same Republican senators who refused to vote for the American Rescue Plan, that put money in people's pockets, that included an expanded child tax credit of $250 to $300 a month per child that just hit the bank accounts. So let's learn from our mistakes of the past. Let's move forward in a big way. And the Progressive Caucus identified 5 priorities to make that happen. First, strengthening the care economy. That means investing in Medicaid, home, and community-based services. It means creating home care jobs. It means establishing paid leave and making child care universal. That is the care economy that we need to invest in. Second, this reconciliation package needs to provide a roadmap to citizenship for essential workers, farm workers, TPS recipients, and dreamers. That is only more urgent after Friday's cruel ruling on DACA. And just on a personal note, as a proud immigrant myself, I have always been clear. Dreamers are Americans. Dreamers are home. The reconciliation package needs to permanently protect these categories of essential workers so that we stop this kind of uncertainty and cruelty for good. Third, bold investments in climate justice as we continue to witness record heat waves, forest fires, droughts in the West, storms, hurricanes, flooding in the East. We have to create millions of clean jobs in the renewable energy sector, and we can put people to work by ensuring the robust funding of a civilian climate corps, a public health jobs corps, a resilience jobs corps. And we can invest in robust renewable energy efforts while directing at least 40% of those funds to frontline communities and those most disproportionately affected. Fourth, we have to expand health care by expanding Medicare. And that means lowering the eligibility age so that we can cover millions more people. And it means covering hearing, dental, and vision for the first time. And it means lowering the cost of prescription drugs, because it is crazy that Americans pay so much more for prescription drugs than anywhere else in the country. That needs to stop. Finally, let's invest in affordable housing so every person has a roof over their head and a place to call home. Homelessness is a policy choice, and it is a bad choice. We can and we must choose differently. So thanks to the Progressive Caucus and the Progressive Movement, all the groups that are organizing here, all 5 of these priorities will be included in some way in this package.
Unbelievable. I mean, yes, it was a lot of soup and nuts in that 5 packages, or 5 priorities, but it's great to hear exactly that they have what they're asking for. Who wouldn't want that? Clean jobs and renewable energy, climate justice, a care community. This is I'm going to I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, about why these things are such a threat to the right. It's not about just paying for it. It's a huge threat on other levels. So stay tuned for that. And finally, in our coverage of this Green New Deal network action that happened this week, that act.tv was there live in DC to cover, is Rana Epting, Move On executive director. Move On helped put this whole thing together, and I think her clip is powerful and speaks for itself.
The ocean is literally on fire. Nearly all the salmon in the Sacramento River on the verge of dying. The climate crisis is not coming. It is here now, and we need Congress to deliver and address the crisis. And this bill, the Build Back Better agenda, needs to meet the moment. The crisis is huge, it is life-threatening, and it will not be solved without big and bold and bigger and bolder solutions. We can no longer put up with business as usual. No more Republican obstruction, no more slowing things down. This is urgent. We need this to pass swiftly, and we need it to be as big as possible. The climate crisis is not coming. It is here now.
She couldn't have stated it more clearly than that. That's Rana Epting, Move On executive director. If you want to find out more about the action that this group put together, you can go to moveon.org. It is part of the Green New Deal network. And I'll tell you, did you please put in the comments wherever you're watching, did you see this covered anywhere? Did even Democracy Now! Cover it? Where was this covered? act.tv. act.tv is covering and bringing the voices of people who are doing this kind of activism work to outlets, networks, to you, to watchers, to people of conscience. So please do us a favor, and if you can, well, follow us if you're not already following us, share us if you're not already sharing us, and leave a comment, because you know how these big tech companies work. The ones that we rely on to get you this information may not have our best interests at heart. They do have algorithms, and those algorithms depend on the comments. So thank you so much. Plus, we read them all. Follow act.tv across platforms. And I'm Julianna Forlano. You can follow me wherever Julianna Forlanos are found, which is pretty much everywhere.